Man, what a game that was for the Golden State Warriors. You could just feel the energy from the jump, like the team walked into that matchup against the Grizzlies with something to prove. And honestly, they did not disappoint. From the opening tip, it looked like the Dubs were locked in, focused, and ready to dominate on both ends of the floor. What stood out most wasn't just the win itself, but how balanced and controlled it felt. The Warriors didn't just rely on their veterans to carry them. This was a team victory, the kind that shows how much depth and potential this roster really has heading into the long grind of the season. Of course, everyone expects Steph Curry to shine, and he did his thing, hitting those deep threes and managing the offense with that same calm confidence we've seen for years. But the real story here wasn't about the usual suspects like Steph, Draymond, or Jimmy. This game was about the young guns, Jonathan Kuminga and Brandon Podziemski. Those two showed up like they've been waiting for this kind of stage all season. It's the kind of performance that makes you stop and think, okay, maybe the next generation of Warriors basketball isn't so far away after all. Kuminga, man, he played with a level of control and maturity that fans have been hoping to see. He wasn't just trying to force highlight plays or outmuscle defenders. He was playing smart basketball. 25 points, 10 rebounds, 4 assists. That's not just a young guy filling up the box score. That's someone starting to understand the rhythm of the game. Sure, he had a few turnovers, but that comes with the territory when you're trying to push the pace and make plays. What really stood out was how engaged he was on both ends. Even though he didn't get a steal, he was active defensively, staying in position, fighting through screens, doing the little things that don't always show up on paper but make a huge difference in the flow of the game. Then there's Pods. I can't stop talking about this guy because the potential is unreal. 8 for 14 from the field, 5 for 7 from deep, 23 points total. But what made that performance even more impressive were those 6 assists. You can tell he's starting to read the floor better, making the right passes at the right time instead of forcing shots. Pods has that rare combination of rebounding strength and playmaking ability that you just don't see in a lot of smaller guards. If he keeps developing that vision and consistency, we might be looking at the true successor to Steph when the time finally comes for Curry to hang it up, and that's saying a lot. Still, as good as the win felt, there were a few moments that left fans scratching their heads. One of them was how little time Quinn and Post got on the floor. I get it, rotations are tight, and Coach Kerr is still figuring out the best combinations, but games like this, where the Warriors were comfortably in control, feel like the perfect time to give your bench guys more minutes to grow. Post went 1 for 4, missed all his threes, but still had 2 rebounds, 2 assists, and 2 blocks. That's something. It shows he's active, he's hustling, and he's trying to make an impact in limited time. You want to see him get more comfortable, especially with tougher matchups coming down the line against teams like the Spurs, Nuggets, and Timberwolves, who all have real size in the paint. And that's the thing. Size is still the biggest concern for the Warriors right now. You look at this roster, and the backcourt is stacked. There's depth, talent, energy. But when you start thinking about those front court battles against big, physical teams, it gets a little shaky. Draymond can play small ball center as well as anyone, but he can't do it every night, especially in a long season. Al Horford's minutes are already being managed carefully, and while he's been solid, there's only so much he can give in those back-to-back situations. That's where someone like Post could really matter. He's got the size, and even if he's raw, those are the moments you use to shape him into a reliable option when the playoffs come around. The matchup against the Spurs coming up is going to be a serious test. Even though it's still early in the season, you could tell that San Antonio is finally putting the pieces together. With Wembanyama leading the charge, that squad is stacked from top to bottom. Keldon Johnson, Devin Vassell, Jeremy Sochan, Stephon Castle, Dylan Harper, all young, athletic, and long. That's exactly the kind of team that can give the Warriors trouble if they're not disciplined. Those guys run the floor hard, they crash the boards, and they punish smaller lineups. So if Golden State wants to stay near the top of the Western Conference, they've got to start figuring out how to balance their rotation and get more size into the mix without sacrificing the speed and ball movement that makes their offense so dangerous. But for now, a win is a win, and this one meant a lot. It showed that the Warriors can control a game from start to finish, not just rely on Steph to bail them out with 30 or 40 points. It showed that the system still works when the younger players buy in and execute. And that's exactly what you want to see 4 games into the season. Growth, confidence, chemistry. The team's sitting at 3 wins and 1 loss heading into a tough stretch, and that's a great place to be. Still, there's that lingering question. What's the long-term plan for Pods? Because as much as he's proving he can play, having 2 small guards in the backcourt during playoff time could be an issue. You look at teams like Oklahoma City or Houston. They've got tall, athletic guards who can switch everything. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Lou Dort, Amen Thompson. Those guys make life hard for smaller backcourts. So while Pods has definitely earned his minutes, the coaching staff is going to have to find a way to integrate him into the system that maximizes his strengths without putting too much defensive pressure on Curry. The upcoming game against the Clippers is going to be another measuring stick. That roster is loaded. Kawhi Leonard, James Harden, Chris Paul, Brook Lopez, John Collins, Bogdan Bogdanović. That's a lot of firepower coming at you from all angles. The Warriors have struggled with them in the past, especially when it comes to second-chance points and physicality in the paint. But this version of the Dubs feels a little different. There's more poise, more structure, and the bench is showing real signs of life. If they can come out fast, build an early 10 or 12-point lead, and keep the pressure up, they'll have a real shot at taking that one. One thing that can't be ignored, though, is how much the Warriors rely on their guard-heavy rotation right now. Off the bench, you've got Buddy Hield, Gary Payton, Moses Moody, Will Richard, and Pat Spencer. That's 5 guards. That's a lot of perimeter talent, but not a lot of size or interior presence. At some point, a move might have to happen. Whether it's a trade or a development focus, they need to balance things out with more frontcourt options. Because once the grind of the season really sets in and you're going up against teams that can rotate multiple bigs, that lack of depth inside could start to show. Even so, there's something encouraging about the way this group is coming together. The chemistry between the starters and the bench, the energy from the young guys, the leadership from Steph and Draymond, it all feels aligned in a way it hasn't for a while. This isn't just about chasing another title. It's about laying the foundation for what comes after. You can see it in the way Kuminga plays now. Not just hunting shots, but trusting the system, making the right reads. You can see it in Pods, finding ways to impact the game even when he's not scoring. That's growth. That's what keeps a dynasty alive beyond its stars. Now, heading into this stretch of the season, this is where the Warriors really start to show who they are. The chemistry is coming together, but the challenges ahead are going to test every bit of that progress. The Clippers matchup is more than just another game on the schedule. It's a statement opportunity. You're talking about a team that's deep, physical, and disciplined, and they've given Golden State problems in recent meetings. Kawhi Leonard, when healthy, is still one of the best two-way players in the league. And James Harden, love him or hate him, has that ability to control the pace of the game and draw fouls that completely change momentum. The Warriors have to come out with intensity from the first possession, because if you let a team like the Clippers settle in, they'll grind you down and force you into a half-court battle that doesn't favor Golden State style. The biggest key here is pace. When the Warriors play fast, with movement and spacing, they're nearly impossible to stop. The ball zips around, everyone gets touches, and defenses get stretched thin trying to chase all those screens and cuts. But when they slow down, when they start over-dribbling or settling for contested shots early in the clock, that's when things fall apart. The Clippers will absolutely take advantage of that if it happens. Draymond has to be that floor general on defense, making the right reads, barking orders, and setting the tone physically. Because while Steph and Pods handle the scoring and creation, it's Draymond's energy that dictates the rhythm of this team. Something else to keep an eye on is how the Warriors handle their rotations. Al Horford being back for this one helps, but he's clearly being managed carefully, and you can tell the staff doesn't want to overwork him early in the season. This is where Quentin Post could come into play again. Even if it's only for short stretches, his size and mobility could make a difference, especially when you're going up against big bodies like Ivica Zubac and Brook Lopez. You can't play small ball forever, not against a team that can punish you inside on every possession. Giving Post those minutes might not just be about developing him. It's about protecting the older legs on this roster for the long haul. Another storyline to watch is how Kuminga continues to adjust his game. He's clearly evolving into more than just an athletic forward. You can see the confidence growing with every game. The way he attacks closeouts, how he's reading the help defense, and how he's starting to understand when to kick out instead of forcing the drive. Those are signs of maturity. And if he starts hitting those outside shots consistently, then the Warriors' offense opens up in a completely new way. The floor spacing gets better, Steph gets more room to operate, and the defense has to pick its poison. That's when Golden State becomes scary again. Pods, on the other hand, still has to prove he can keep up this level of performance against elite teams. Scoring 20-plus points against Memphis is great, but the Clippers are a different animal. They'll pressure him, switch on him, and test his ability to make quick decisions under fire. If he can replicate that same composure he had last game, finding open shooters, crashing the boards, and playing within the flow, then he's going to cement himself even more firmly in this rotation. What's interesting is that you can already see the trust building between him and Steph. The spacing, the timing, the way they move off each other. It's something that doesn't just happen overnight. That's chemistry being built in real time, and it's beautiful to watch. But credit where it's due. This Warriors team is fighting. They're adapting. You can tell they're not satisfied with just coasting on reputation. The veterans are pushing, the young guys are buying in, and the coaching staff is experimenting in ways that actually make sense. They're not afraid to tweak lineups, give new combinations a shot, and let players earn their minutes. That's a healthy sign of a team trying to build something sustainable, not just chasing short-term wins. Before we continue, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss any exclusive Dubs updates. Let's keep going. Nikola Jokic, the reigning MVP and one of the most dominant centers in the NBA, has reportedly shaken the league to its core. Whispers around the league suggest that Jokic is on the verge of a blockbuster move to the Golden State Warriors, a shift that would send shockwaves from coast to coast. The potential trade, still unconfirmed, has fans and insiders alike speculating about a seismic shift in the balance of power in the NBA. Jokic, known for his rare combination of size, vision, and scoring ability, has been the heart of the Denver Nuggets for years. But the rumors hint at a new chapter, one that could pair him with Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, and Draymond Green, creating a super team that could dominate the Western Conference. The implications are enormous. A Warriors roster with Jokic could potentially rewrite the record books and spark debates over the greatest lineups in modern basketball history. Sources close to the matter claim discussions have been intense and ongoing, though nothing is officially confirmed. The Nuggets, perennial playoff contenders with Jokic at the helm, would undoubtedly demand a monumental return. Draft picks, young talent, and maybe even a current star could be on the table. Meanwhile, the Warriors' front office is reportedly weighing the risk of giving up future assets against the immediate, tantalizing prospect of adding a transcendent talent. Fans are already buzzing on social media. The idea of Jokic in a Warriors jersey has ignited countless hypothetical matchups, from thrilling regular season clashes to potential championship showdowns. Analysts are split. Some believe the pairing could redefine offensive basketball, while others warn about chemistry issues and the challenge of fitting two superstar-heavy styles together. One thing is clear, the NBA landscape is bracing for change. If the Jokic to Warriors rumor proves true, this offseason might be remembered as the moment everything shifted, the day the balance of power in the league teetered and a new dynasty was whispered into existence. The basketball world waits with bated breath, eyes glued to every development, every meeting, every cryptic social media post. Because if Nikola Jokic does indeed land in Golden State, the NBA might never look the same again. Stay updated exclusively with the latest Dub Nation news. Subscribe to our channel and hit the like button to keep getting daily updates on the Warriors. Don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments. Your input is essential for the Dubs community. Stay tuned for the next video.